Alright, welcome to Colour Powered Racing, a simple board game I invented to help students explore key ideas of chance and probability. All you need is your game board, a bag, paper bag's fine, some counters to be our little cars, and then some blue, yellow, red and green blocks. Here's how it works. So in this game there's 3 different events, and each one builds on the ideas of the previous one. To set up for event 1, we need 6 red, 3 blue, 2 green and 1 yellow block. Place them in the bag and shake them up. Once your bag's ready to go, each player needs 2 counters, and ideally they'll be different colours to our yellow, blue, green and red that are going to be used in our bag. Students will take turns handing the bag around the circle, and each turn a student will pull 1 block out at random. Now, the whole reason the game's called Coloured Powered Racing is because if your colour's chosen, your car gets an extra boost. So every single round, every car moves forward 1 space. But if you had your counter in the right place, so orange and black here both predicted that red was going to come out the bag, then they get to move forward 2 spaces. So black and orange on the first round will move forward 2, the rest of the cars will move forward 1 space. Then, in event 1, the block is placed back in, shuffled up, bags handed on to the next person, and then the next person draws. So every time a block's chosen, all cars, everyone will either move forward 1 or 2 spaces. Now, at the end of each turn, students are allowed to move their counter and change their prediction. Now, you are allowed to stay on the same colour as well. You don't have to move your counter if you don't want to. Now, you might be thinking, what's the point of this? Wouldn't you, if you're playing this game in event 1, you just always permanently stay on red? Because literally it's going to be red 50% of the time. Because if we remember, 6 of my blocks were red, 3 were blue, 2 were green and 1 were yellow. And the reason I chose those colours for event 1 is because they're 12ths. And they work really well to, depending on whether your class is ready or not, write these down as fractions and explore them. So, for example, we know that red is 6/12 or half or 2/4. Blue is 1/4, a quarter chance of happening. Green might come up 1/6 of the time, and we can represent that by doing the following. To know how I've broken my collection down into 6, with green being 1/6, and then lucky last we've got yellow with 1/12 of the time. So now let's look at event 2. So this time, instead of having different amounts on each of the colours, all colours start with the same amount. We have 5 of every colour. But there's a catch. This time, instead of after each round the block being chosen going back into the bag, this time we leave it out. So once a block's being used, it stays out of the bag. So, for example, no one was on green, so everybody moves forward 1 space. And now the players get to make a new decision, but every turn, they've got to try and keep track in their heads and recalculate what's going to give me the best chance of the next colour coming up. So, perhaps black might move to red, yellow might move over here, and then we'll shake it up and go again. This time it's yellow. No one was on yellow, so everyone just moved forwards 1. And now the players hedging their bets might go, well, there's slightly less chance of any yellow and green coming up, so we're still going to go with the blue and the red. And so now all of a sudden the game is really dynamic and will ebb and flow in terms of what are the best probabilities and the best chance at any given point. So then, as a teacher while my students are playing this, every now and again I like to pause, get everyone to pause exactly where they're up to with their game, and then see if they can work out the fraction or percentage chance of what colour is most likely to be drawn next based on what's already been drawn out here. So in this case, I've already used, well, look at that. So I've already used, that's 2 5, so 10. So there must be 10 blocks in here. So that means I could write the percentage chance of the colours left as tenths. Now, I know there was 5 to start with, so there's going to be 0% chance of anyone going on green. Useful to know. I don't want to ever be parking my counter on green. But then thinking about my other colours, well, there must be 2 yellows left in the bag, so that's 2/10, or 1/5 chance of drawing yellow. And then here, for my blue and my red, I know there must be 4 left in the bag, so that means there's a 4 out of 10 chance, or 2 out of 5 chance, 2/5 of a chance of drawing one of those. It's a whole lot of fun and so much to explore. So now, we've arrived at event 3 of Coloured Powered Racing. So in this third event, we go back to the same rules from event 1, where if a colour is picked out of the bag, it goes back in. And so for this one, we start by filling the bag with 12 red, 6 blue, 3 green, and 1 yellow. Now, the whole point of this is making it really unfair in terms of why would you ever go on yellow? So the yellow only has a 1 in 24 chance of being picked out, because the whole point of this time is get the students to thinking about what's fair and what will make the game more enjoyable. So we're going to start by putting all these in the bag. So once your bag's ready to go, send your students off and give them about 10 minutes to play with these rules. And then come back to the floor and have a conversation and talk about, well, is it fun playing with these rules? Because hopefully what has happened is everyone's just staying on red and it's making for a pretty boring game, because red is so much more likely than any of the other colours to be drawn out. And so then talk about, well, how could we, without changing the blocks in our bag, how can we make this more fair and make this more enjoyable and make the risk of going to other colours worth it? So then you're sending off students, and what they have to decide is they have to then come up with their own point system of how much of a boost each colour should get. So red might only give you 1 extra colour boost, but then maybe blue, if you're lucky enough to be on blue when blue is drawn, it might give you a double boost and let your counter move forward 3 spaces. And then, with yellow being only 1 in 24, what should that be worth in terms of a boost? Should you be able to take the risk and be able to spring forward 12 spaces or something insane or crazy like that? Because that way, as students come up with their own system, then they can practice and play test it to see, did that work? Was it fair? Did it make the game enjoyable? And so while you're doing this, you can talk about things where, if you make your rules where the game's over in 3 turns, it's going to make for a pretty boring game because it's just going to be over like that, and there's no time to build up the stakes. The other alternative is if you don't give your colour boosts enough, then the game might take too long and just be a little bit boring. So students have to really come up with a set of rules that's going to make the game the maximum amount of fun with the maximum amount of high thrilling stakes and epic finishes. And so there you go, that's coloured powered racing, and you can see just from the 3 events we went through, there are so many different aspects of chance and probability that we've been through, discussed, explored, and had a really good look at. And so, while I might have gone through my 3 events that I made as part of exploring the rules of simply giving cars boost with colours, you might be able to have a whole heap of fun with this and come up with your own events too, where you might play test different combinations of colours to make this game as enjoyable and as fun as possible. Alright, your turn. Go math it up.